What if a simple doctor's appointment turned into a nightmare no one could have predicted? Imagine this. A young girl sits quietly beside her father in a small-town clinic. The doctor begins a routine ultrasound, but before the screen even lights up, the girl starts acting strangely. She fidgets, whispers, and finally blurts out words that make the room freeze. What happens next shocks everyone present and unravels a mystery darker than anyone could have imagined. This is not just a story about medicine. It's a story about secrets, lies, and the terrifying moment when a child reveals the truth adults try to hide. The story begins in a quiet suburban town, a place where everyone knows everyone, where neighbors wave from their porches and families gather at church every Sunday. On the surface, nothing seemed unusual about John Miller, a hardworking father in his mid-30s. To the community, John was devoted, protective, and caring. His daughter, Emily, was just 8 years old, bright-eyed, curious, and inseparable from her dad. Friends often described them as unusually close. Wherever John went, Emily was by his side. But beneath the surface, there were whispers. Whispers the neighbors ignored. Emily seemed different around her father, sometimes clingy, other times withdrawn. Teachers noticed her quiet stares, her unease when certain questions were asked, but no one could ever quite piece it together. Then came the day everything changed. It was supposed to be routine, a medical visit. John had complained of recurring abdominal pain, and Emily, as usual, insisted on accompanying him. She sat close, watching his every move, as they entered the small clinic on the corner of town. Inside, Dr. Catherine Lewis, a well-respected physician with 2 decades of experience, greeted them warmly. She had no reason to believe that this appointment would be any different from the dozens she had that day. The examination began normally. The doctor prepared the ultrasound machine, applying the cold gel and pressing the device gently against John's abdomen. But before the screen even lit up, Emily shifted uneasily in her chair. At first, it was subtle, a nervous shuffle, her fingers twisting the hem of her dress. But then, she leaned forward, her voice trembling. "Stop it, please stop." Dr. Lewis paused, glancing at the little girl. "Emily? What do you mean?" The room grew tense. John shifted uncomfortably. "She's just tired," he said quickly, brushing it off. But Emily wasn't finished. She pressed closer to the doctor, her eyes wide with fear. "Don't let him do it again," she whispered. Silence filled the air. The only sound was the faint hum of the ultrasound machine. Dr. Lewis froze, caught between professional duty and maternal instinct. Something in the child's voice wasn't just fear, it was desperation. The atmosphere inside the room changed completely. What was once a routine medical checkup now felt like a confrontation with something darker. Dr. Lewis decided to act cautiously. She continued the exam, keeping her tone calm, while simultaneously asking Emily gentle questions. "Emily, can you tell me what's wrong?" The child's response was chilling. She whispered, almost inaudible, "He hurts me when no one's looking." The doctor's heart sank. She looked at John, who immediately grew defensive. She doesn't know what she's saying. She's confused. Kids make up stories all the time. But Emily clung to the doctor's arm, refusing to let go. Her small voice shook the room. "Please help me." At that moment, Dr. Lewis made a decision that would change everything. She excused herself briefly, under the pretense of retrieving equipment, and quietly alerted clinic staff. Protocol was clear. Suspected child abuse had to be reported immediately. Security was called. Authorities were contacted, and within minutes, the clinic that had been filled with routine patients was now buzzing with tension. John grew agitated, demanding to leave, but staff stalled him until law enforcement arrived. Police escorted John Miller away for questioning. Emily, trembling but relieved, was taken into protective care. Over the next few days, investigators unraveled a web of disturbing secrets. Behind closed doors, John had maintained a facade of fatherly devotion while hiding a darker truth. Neighbors admitted they had ignored warning signs. Teachers recalled Emily's strange behavior. Even extended family members had sensed something was wrong, but stayed silent. The ultrasound visit had become the breaking point, the moment a brave little girl finally found her voice. Forensic interviews confirmed her story. Medical examinations revealed consistent evidence of abuse. And John Miller, the man the community once respected, was unmasked as a predator. The case shook the town to its core. People who once greeted John with handshakes now recoiled at the thought of him. The trial that followed exposed years of hidden abuse, concealed by silence, fear, and manipulation. Emily, though traumatized, became the face of resilience. With therapy, community support, and her own courage, she began to heal. Dr. Lewis was praised for her quick thinking and for refusing to dismiss the words of a frightened child. And the story carried a chilling lesson. Sometimes the most ordinary settings, a doctor's office, a routine checkup, can become the stage for extraordinary revelations. As the gavel fell in the courtroom, sealing John's fate, one truth remained undeniable. If not for Emily's courage and a doctor who chose to listen, the secret might never have been revealed. This case serves as a haunting reminder. Listen to children, even when their words seem strange, confusing, or unbelievable. Sometimes, those whispers are the only chance to uncover a hidden truth. Emily's story may have begun in fear, but it ended in courage and in exposing the darkness that thrived in silence. For every child who can't yet speak, it's up to us to listen. Always.